is this thing waiting for? It's like this software I'm using. I haven't quite got it down yet, but the OBS is trying to connect with the YouTube live thing.
You did.
I'll be a pro at this by next week.
That's right. I can't answer none of this stuff.
Okay, I think I am live now. I think we got everything streaming correctly. If you can hear me, those who are waiting, just type OK into the chat.
Yeah, they can hear you. I'm just getting the feedback now.
Okay, that lets me know everything is going okay. Okay. So back to what we were getting into. You know, what we're looking at here is we're looking at footprint charts, and everybody's going to have a different setup on how they like to look at the footprint. And basically, like I said yesterday, what I did was, you know, you kind of go in and out of different chat rooms, and that's free chat rooms on YouTube. You can't go into Discord not unless you pay. So by the time, you know, I went in and out of rooms, you know, nobody was doing anything dealing with footprint. So, you know, basically I just said to, you know, my trading partner Magic, I said, hey man, you know, nobody's doing, you know, a footprint live. And sometimes I understand why, because a lot of times you will not get signals at all. Like technically speaking, I might have gotten maybe one trade this week, and that was like day before yesterday. And the way people set up footprint is going to be different from how you set it up and so forth. So this is nothing etched in stone. We're just giving ideas on how to set up a footprint and different things that you might want to look at. Okay? So what you see on, will you guys say, Magic?
Yeah, this is Magic. I just wanted to say, you know, I'm a little bit more active. Yesterday, I think Top Step took 0 trades. I took 1. And a lot of times when you're dealing with trying to find that anomaly type of trading, you're not going to get a lot of trades during the day. That being said, does not mean that you can't be active with this. I did just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Doesn't mean you can't be active. It just means you're gonna bring your thresholds down for what your anomalies would be. Top Step works with a number of delta of 1,000. He uses a cumulative of 10,000 before he's really ready to commit. Those aren't numbers you're going to see every day. So therefore, if you're working on a small time frame chart, your thresholds are going to be entirely different, and you may be very active. Doesn't say you're going to be successful or not. It just says you're going to be more active. So Footprint is designed for all types of trading, except for maybe the long buy and hold type of a trader. But if you're looking for the action as of what's happening right now, that's what Footprint is designed for.
Okay, and basically, you know what? There are probably some beginners or some people that are just getting into Footprint. So some of you guys who are a little bit more advanced, bear with me for a second. And I'm going to show you guys how I set up a chart from the beginning. So right here, I can go down to the tab. And I'm basically dealing with TDU footprint. And I'm going to show you how I came to what you're seeing on the screen now. I don't see me pulling off a trade anytime soon. We got the cumulative delta at minus 19. We're looking at plus 285. So let's take this and let me show you how I set my E-mini chart up. Now, I set up.
Holy mountain! That's the top secret gadget phone.
Those are alerts you hear going off. I set up an E-mini chart based on the time frame that I wanted to look at. So if I'm looking at the NASDAQ is going to be totally different as far as the delta numbers, as far as the cum delta, and other numbers you might be looking at. So do not take my numbers and apply those same numbers or thresholds to your NASDAQ or to your T-bonds or to your crude oil for that matter, right? You got different numbers. The euro will be totally something different. Gold will be totally something different. But what I'm showing you is you can apply the same principle as far as the techniques we're using once you understand the delta numbers and the cum delta, and we'll get all into that as far as setup is concerned. Okay, we got about 1 minute. Okay, the market is open. So let's go through the setup. What I use is I use a range bar, and I use something called the Street range bar, which at the time and I've had this for years. They were giving it away for years. So now they're charging for it. But what I did do was their free version. I posted a video, not a video, a link. I posted a link up under the video yesterday. I think it was up under the video yesterday where you can go and download those range bars or the range bar that you're seeing on my screen. Now, the only difference between these range bars that were free at the time, and this is the free version, they do charge for a version that they're using now, but the only difference is between these range bars and the range bars that you have with NinjaTrader is these range bars, and I'm gonna move this to the side for a minute. These range bars have a close indicator. So a close indicator, one tick above that green means that's where the bar is going to close at, and one tick below that in that red line, that's where the bar is going to close at, and that's going to help you in making your decisions in where you want to get out or where you want to get in. Okay, so that's the reason why I use NeuroStreet's range bars. No disrespect to NeuroStreet, they were free at the time, so that's what I'm using. Okay, so moving on, I have a 15 range setup. And this is just for those people, and this is only going to be done one time, and that's this on this particular video right here. And I set the time to extended trading hours. Now, a lot of you guys, I don't know if a lot of you guys know that Trade Devil you can run Trade Devil with or without tick replay. So when you kick on Trade Devil without tick replay, the purpose for that is in case you want to run Bloodhound or something of that nature where you want to put those signals into or onto your chart, which I do run Bloodhound and I do run Blackbird. That's a whole nother different conversation. But Trade Devil made it very easy for you to be able to run.
That's the top secret gadget phone.
Trade Devil made it very easy for you to be able to run their footprint without tick replay, which I think is a game changer. I definitely think that's a game changer. And somehow they figured out how to run footprint without tick replay. For you guys that are interested in writing that stuff into your program, that to me is a game changer. And right now, what you're looking at on your chart is, or on my screen is, you're looking at the footprint running without tick replay. Now, I do have a template for what I did was, and let's get to the meat of this conversation now. What I did was I started running KISS OrderFlow. Now, what KISS OrderFlow does is KISS OrderFlow.
That's the top secret gadget phone.
KISS OrderFlow had me running something that, bear with me for a second here. KISS OrderFlow had me running something that tick replay. Let me set this up. Give me a second. Let me set this up. KISS OrderFlow, there is a setting in KISS OrderFlow where, and I'm going to show you the settings as soon as I get it set.
%100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Okay. Let me take off the fair. I think I got a fair value gap running on here also. Fair value gap, I'll be talking about that also somewhere down the line. That's a free indicator I found for Ninja Trader on the internet. That's another, something else I look at is it creates zones where there are gaps. So
100% satisfaction guaranteed.
let me go into the settings real quick of KISS OrderFlow, just so you'll know exactly what I was looking at or what I'm looking at with KISS OrderFlow. There is a setting in KISS OrderFlow, and the setting is, what I did was I made everything transparent in the KISS OrderFlow. And if you want this template, if you're also running KISS OrderFlow, I have also linked that template where you can download, where KISS OrderFlow is running on top of the footprint. There is a setting on here where it says show delta on bar. And I had that ticked, or had that, put a check mark beside that. And there's also a setting where it says only show on higher volume. And everything else I silenced. So when I went back to KISS, and this is, I want to get into something for a second. When you're doing research, take your time and go through all of the settings so you will know what you want to use. Just buying an indicator and using somebody else's template, like for me, using my template, you want to know all of the options that you can use, not just my options, because you might see something that might be advantageous for you that I am not looking at. You follow what I'm saying? So when you guys download or when you guys purchase KISS OrderFlow, make sure you understand all of the settings, because you might put something else on there that I am not looking at. You might put something else on there that because I can't see it all. These are just some things that I have experienced and some of my ideas that I'm putting forth to, help you guys get along and trade. And hopefully I learned something from you guys, because FootPrint is not a cakewalk by all means. FootPrint is not a cake. I think Magic introduced me to FootPrint or OrderFlow back in 2014, 2015. So when we started looking into it, and he already had a heads up, he was a little bit more advanced than me, but he already had a heads up in what he was looking for. And I had to go through the process of learning everything. And it might take 6 months to a year, even longer. And I actually had somebody that told me recently, I'm not going to say who they are, but they told me they've been in this business for 10 years and I know it all. One thing you might want to remember, always keep an open mind. I've been in this business more so on the brokerage side, or more so on the trading side than the brokerage side, since 1990. I met Magic back in 1989, 1990. And we have always been learning. We have always been learning, but what really came about is when the internet really started to take off and when people started to make this software available. Okay? So always keep an open mind, because you might not use exactly what we're using, but I guarantee you this, there is going to be something on one of these videos and you're going to say, you know what? I can use this or I can use that. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I don't care how long you've been in the business, and this software, a lot of us, and I don't know how you guys are, or young men and ladies are, but a lot of people, I don't know how you guys are, but we started when there was only meta stock and we were looking at daily charts. I personally even knew a guy who was creating his charts by hand.
Me.
Magic was one of them. Right. And I'm thinking about Kevin. That's who I'm thinking about.
Know.
Yeah.
I went to the library every morning, got the quotes for the day out of the Wall Street Journal, and drew one line for sugar, drew one line for cocoa, drew one line for soybeans, drew one line for corn. That's how I actually started. And eventually, after a couple of months, one line equaled a lot of lines on the sheet, and I could actually get a picture. And that's how trading got started. That and a piece of junk mail that taught me ABC 1, 2, 3 bottoms.
Right.
Everybody has a starting history.
So, and that's a good point, because, with so much software out here now, and let me stress this also. I definitely need to stress this. I am not here to help you get an account with one of these funded trading firms. That's not my goal. My goal here is if you learn how to trade, if you learn how to look for your signals on what you're looking for, and I always call them high probability trades, all that other stuff is going to come naturally. All of that other stuff is going to come naturally. Trust me. The funded accounts and all that. And let me bring up something else, because we're running this FootPrint on Ninja Trader. So let me bring up a screenshot of this is a screenshot. What you see on the screen right now, these are demo accounts. These demo accounts I can set up for free in Ninja Trader. That's if you're coming from version 28 up into the current version. I don't think you can do that with just the new NinjaTrader. They're not allowing people to set up free demo accounts. The purpose for setting up a demo account in NinjaTrader is to test your ideas, to see if they're working. You want to set and like
Holy mackerel! That's the top secret gadget phone.
what you see before you. I have a Sim 101. I got a Rinko system. You know, anytime I have certain patterns that I want to look at, I'll set up a demo account inside of NinjaTrader. I am not paying $40 or $30, nothing personal to some of you guys, to set up a demo account. Okay? You can set these accounts up in NinjaTrader for free and practice your ideas there without paying. This is for free. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Okay? Now, back to the chart you see before you. Now, the chart you see before you, oops, bring that back up. Doesn't make a difference which one it is. The chart you see before you is, this is KISS running on top of NinjaTrader. I like looking at the footprint, and KISS didn't have a footprint, or they didn't have the bid and ask numbers on their chart. So that's why I put the KISS on top of the footprint of Trade Devils, is because I wanted to see the delta, and I only wanted to see the delta only on higher volume. And notice, wherever you see a number at the bottom or a number at the top of the bar, that's basically telling you this is higher volume, meaning it's comparing the last or the current volume, the bar that just closed, to the last bar. That is it. So right now you're looking at a current bar, you're looking at 14,000.8, 14,000.9, 15,000 in volume, and it's looking at the last bar was 43,000. So this number isn't going to brighten up, or it's not going to lighten up until it gets above 43.3 in volume, and that's 43,000. That's a lot of volume, by the way. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the market has been moving sideways, like they're waiting for some type of interest rate cut or something is coming. But something is about to happen, because I can only imagine. Magic, what is your squeeze doing? Magic likes looking at the squeeze on his chart. Do you have a squeeze? Do you have a squeeze happening on the E-mini right now? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, my bands are actually going sideways at this point in time. So it's not a squeeze. I don't necessarily play the squeeze. I tend to say when bands are going sideways, I tend to buy the bottom and sell the top. As you can see, for squeeze players, you look like you're trying to make a run outside of this range that we have right now. Just a quick note, we are on an inside day today, so be very careful. I do have strategies basically that I change my entire strategy around on the daily when I look at daily charts. As you can see, we're banging on the one top side, we're coming down, very little on the bottom side because bias is up. That's why we're not dropping as much that's why we're not coming down as far. So we're grinding up to this point, but if you look at a longer term chart, you'll notice that you're in sideways action. And as long as these bands continue to move sideways, I'm more interested in them. They're trying to open up right now, if you notice. Both ends are going the opposite directions. That's giving you a good idea of what kind of momentum you're starting to build up. As well as something as old trusty dusty MACD at the bottom, you can also see that the histogram is also building its momentum as well. So we're at a current stage right now where we're hitting resistance and we're trying to figure out whether we want to break out of this or not.
Okay.
Quick answer, squeeze.
Okay.
Quick
And
answer, squeeze.
what you say?
It's a quick answer to the squeeze. Oh, and by the way, we are getting a T no T on the 25R.
Okay.
So,
And let me explain to you what the inside day is. This is a daily. This is a daily E-mini chart you see before you. I'm running the 2B.
Holy mackerel, that's the top secret gadget phone.
I'm running a 2B indicator on top here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 2B indicator, and I am actually running that. I have 6 screens in front of me, so I have several charts running in front of me. As with Magic has 6 screens in front of him, and what you see is a daily. And the reason why I look at the daily is because I like to know when we're trading on an inside day. And this is an inside with the potential of going outside the high of yesterday. A lot of times I've noticed, and a perfect example was yesterday when I put on if you guys watched the video from yesterday, I put on a trade and it lost. And my belief, and this is only in my opinion, when you see an inside day, you don't get any follow through. And that was a perfect trade yesterday, which was a losing trade. And trust me, I've traded real money and learned that the hard way. When you see an inside day, you're not going to get no follow through. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get no follow through. And that's only based on what I'm using. I'm using a 15R. Now, that can change if you're looking at a smaller time frame. You might be like Magic, he likes to look at a 6R. So he might be trading the edges. And he'll explain to you what the edges are sometime down along the video. But he likes to trade the edges, which means the highs and the lows on a smaller time frame. That is the perfect day to trade an inside day. Okay? But what you see before you, I look right over at the inside day and I say, okay, it's an inside day, so it's going to be a tight range. Whereas yesterday was an outside day. But yesterday was an inside day and it turned to an outside day towards the end of the day. A lot of times, if I'm not up in the green by 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'm done. I'm done. A lot of times you see the majority of your action or the majority of your volatility comes from 9:30 up until around 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then you got, reports to come out in the evening time, like the FOMC, they do their interest rates, but I do not trade reports. To me, that's a no-no. When I worked at the brokerage firm, I can tell you a whole lot of horror stories of people who like to trade the reports. Horror stories? Oh my goodness. So anyway, I don't trade reports. So when I know a report is coming out, especially even in the morning time, let me show you something else I look at in the morning time before the market's open. This is just a daily chart, and I have an idea of what the range was like or what the range is going to be like and so forth. I also look at my reports for the day. This report lets me know all reports that are coming out during that particular day. And this is on one of my charts also. So I can go down the list and I can look at the currencies and I go right down to the US dollar. You got 830. And just like this morning, we have 9:45, you got Chicago PMI. And then 10 o'clock, you got pending home sales and consumer sentiment. So when reports are coming out, you want to be very careful, very, very careful when it comes to trading reports, especially if you get in before that report, you're going to get jerked. And most likely, a lot of times, you'll get stopped out and the market will still go your way after they stop you out. That's why I don't like trading reports. When I was at the brokerage firm in Chicago, we traded through reports. We traded through reports because we had enough funds to do it. And I was managing what you call a systems division. And in that systems division, this was Lynn Waldock, and in that systems division, we traded a lot of systems. We were running like 10, 15 systems at a time. We were running day trading systems. We were running daily systems. And when those reports came out, we had to sit there in front of the screen and stomach that report. It was not fun at all, especially if we ended up having a losing day or something of that nature. But, you know, it was a learning experience. So when reports are coming out, be very careful and pay attention to your reports coming out. A lot of times I like to be, if I do put on a trade before a report, I like to be out probably 5 or 10 minutes before that report comes out, because right around the 5 minute before the report comes out, you start getting a lot of jerky action. So just be careful, you know, when the report's coming out. Also, like I said, I run the E-mini daily so I can see inside bar. I run the NASDAQ. This is a NASDAQ, and you can see the NASDAQ is on the inside day today. Be very careful with the NASDAQ today. I like looking at the micro, and the micro is basically just a copy of the E-mini. And I also like looking at the Dow. And you can see the Dow it's an outside day, but right now it's on the inside, but it has made new highs. It broke yesterday's high, and this is the Dow futures. And also, if you decide to run this footprint on any other, I keep giving this warning because I'm still in the learning process. If you decide to run this footprint on any other chart other than the E-mini, pay attention to your delta numbers. Definitely pay attention to your delta numbers. And also, I have running on another screen, I like to look at the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the VIX. And this is my Schwab account, but I log into my Schwab account, and I like to just look at what the cash is doing. I call this my trusty dusty indicator, because a lot of times if the Dow is basically unchanged about what it's doing now, there's not enough movement on the E-mini for my 15R to catch a trade. And that's another thing that I like looking at. Okay, so you have an idea of what I'm looking at now. Let me go to my footprint chart. Back to my footprint chart. Back to the KISS order flow. So yes, I did post a template on the KISS right under the video yesterday, where I uploaded my template for the KISS on top of the footprint. And also, what is that guy's name? I don't know his name. He posted a custom. In case you guys do not have KISS order flow, he posted a custom I'm gonna show this to you guys, and I will make sure I post this too. Under volume custom expression, this is for the Trade Devil people who do not have KISS order flow at the moment. And this basically does the same thing, but it's a tad bit different, but it gets you close. It lets you know when the volume is higher than the last bar and what the delta is. And I noticed, but with this particular custom formula, you do have to look down at the delta to see what the delta is. Okay? And if I'm not mistaken, you can probably put the delta up on top of the bars. You can. Under the bar statistics, you can put the delta up under the bars when you're running that particular volume indicator, in case you want to see it. So that would not be bad. This particular formula right here. And matter of fact, I'm gonna try a little trick here, in case you guys want to copy this. I'll copy and paste it in the chat for you guys who want to copy that formula. Copy that whole formula and paste it under your volume custom expression. Let me know if it works for you guys too. This is almost like a free webinar you guys are getting. I want you guys to know. A lot of gems are being dropped inside of these videos.
I actually got to interject here for a second, just to let everybody know something I've always watched when I look at Top Step. Over the years, for 30 years or more, I have watched him collect some of everything. Doesn't always use it, but he's got more gadgets, books, libraries, PDFs, etc. It's almost worth it just listening for a while to see what he drops the next time, because he's always got something in his arsenal that, yeah, you probably will be able to use from a tool aspect. So stay tuned.
Do you guys see that formula I just pasted inside of the chat? Let me know if you do, and if you can copy and paste it. This is just something I'm trying out as far as copy and paste inside of the chat. Trader chat. I'm a junkie too. I'm a trader. Man, let me tell you guys something. It would behoove you to become real good friends with me and Magic. Okay, you don't see it?
I don't think it came in.
Yeah, for some reason it's it might be too big. I might have to does it say too many? Is it putting too many characters in here? Don't see it. Yeah, I think I put too many. It's too many characters in here, so I'm gonna have to paste that formula under today's video. And a lot of times, what I paste or what we discuss in these videos, and I'll paste this formula under today's video also, or send me your email and I'll email it to you. But a lot of times I will just paste the formula. I will zip it up and paste it in Notepad or something like that. I saw the formula in a previous video. I added it to my TDU, but I don't see a difference. What is the purpose of it? That formula basically is doing the same thing that KISS OrderFlow is doing. Minus the delta on top of your bars. But I noticed if you go into your bar statistics under Trade Devil, let me know if you need help with this kind of stuff. I'm also a web developer.
Tom, we're any kind of help we can get always is appreciated.
Right. Exactly. Tom, that would be beautiful. But what that formula does is it lets you know when the volume is higher than the last volume, and under your bar statistics, show that in your bar statistics and also select the delta. That is what that did, and I think the guy's name is Cubic Box. I don't know his real name. He might have left his name yesterday. I don't want to call him Cubic Box, but that's his. That was his YouTube. That was his YouTube.
Holy mackerel! That's the top secret gadget phone.
That was his YouTube name. If you come back online, man, shoot me an email and let me know your real name, just so I can call you by your real name. I don't want to call you Cubic Box. But yeah, anyway, that's the purpose of that formula. And yes, you have to enable delta on your bar statistics. Great. So yeah, and how we're looking at this is one of the main things that I'm using when I'm looking at OrderFlow. This is one of the main things I'm using is this KISS OrderFlow on top of the FootPrint. And we will get into the bid and ask in a minute or in a little bit, because the bid and ask has a lot to do with it too. The bid is at the very bottom left, and we look at the ask at the very top right. And when that comes into play, especially when you're looking at double tops, and I didn't know this until recently, and this is something I learned. When you're looking at double tops, you're looking at the ask, and look on your screen right now. What you see on that high that made it up there at 14 and a half, right now that bar closed at 100, an ask of 100. Notice the current bar is sitting at 93. If this bar closes down and that number 93 does not change, that is going to be a classic double top, because you're looking at the number of buyers the first time I got up there, and then you're looking at the number of buyers the last time.
That's based strictly on buyer interest at the top. That's what this is based on when you're looking at just those two numbers for a double top.
Right. So
It just changed anyway, but yeah, that's what you're interested in. Sometimes your delta numbers are not going to match that.
right.
So you've got a decision at that point as well. And sometimes your bias may very well come into this.
Right.
Again, you might notice we're not talking a lot about a system because, well, number one, personally, I don't believe in per se a system. I believe in an approach. And we're just trying to at least expose different tools that you can use, whether you have a system, whether you have an approach, whether you have favorite tools that you put together. We're trying to give you another layer that you can use in the world of FootPrint to actually confirm some of the stuff that you already know.
I was looking for a double bottom. Okay. Here is a higher low using the
Going to 752 this morning.
using the bid. Yeah, here's a higher low. I'm looking at when it made a low at 604, and you see that bid down there. It said 96. You can't see it because that line, that dotted line, by the way, is the low of the day, which is a red line, and the green line, if you ever see a green line, that would be the high of the day. But you're looking at 96. Notice how the sellers lightened up. You got 96 here. You got 28 there. You have 6 there. This is the kind of information you want to be looking at.
Holy mackerel, that's the top secret gadget phone.
That's the kind of information you want to be looking at if you're looking to go long. You want to see those sellers lightening up as you're thinking about going long. And I always, if I'm on the phone with Magic, I'll say, man, we got 28 versus 96. That's what I'm looking at. Let me draw a line just so you guys can see exactly.
And you can also go to the 12 and you will see the same thing. A bottom is a bottom, so it doesn't matter what time frame you're really playing on here. The 12-hour shows the exact same thing.
12-hour shows the exact same thing. Let me.
You may have 3 bars in between my bottoms. He's got 2 bars in between his bottoms. Either way, a pivot is a pivot.
Right. So a lot of times, and let me express this also. Whatever my cum delta for me, this is my personal opinion, is dictating, that's my bias for the day. You have to recognize when you're taking a counter trade against the trend. I'm not saying you can't do it, but know when you're in a counter trade and know why that trade isn't working out for you. Because a lot of times, if you get in a counter trade, a trade might not work out for you. That trade might not work out for you. And what my eyes do is I go straight down to the cum delta. Right now we're at 27.11. That's not enough for me to take a long trade. I like to see I know this is a high number, and you can make that threshold number whatever you want, but my number is when it starts to get around 9 to 10,000, without an inside day, by the way. Without an inside day, by the way, that's when I'm more apt to take a trade. That's when I'm really looking to take a trade. Okay? So, I'll look at the pivots. My eyes will go down to the pivots. And notice here, you know, you might want to take a trade. Notice this is 169. I'm going to show you how I compare these delta numbers. You got plus 169 here, and then you got a higher low of 2254. We're not going to talk about the cum delta right now. We're just talking about reasons to get into a trade. That would, for me, that would be a reason to get into a trade. Okay, I'm starting to look at, because you got down here and you're talking only 169 buyers, and then it goes to 2254. That's a trade. And if you're looking to scalp, that's no chump change. Because even if you got in, say, worst case scenario, you got in where the PC is, and you were able to ride it up to that particular, and I know you're not going to get the high of the day. Even if you got half of that, that's 2.5 points that you can scalp. That's a 5-point move right there. So worst case scenario, you take 8 ticks or 2 points out of that run. That's not a bad, and this is based on a 15R. Pay attention to the range bars that you have running. Okay? What'd you say, Magic?
Now, let me ask you a question, because I haven't necessarily done the homework on this, but a lot of times, just looking at your chart, where you've got the 433 at the top, and now you've got a 600 at this top.
Right.
Would you consider that trapping more buyers at this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
You would consider we're building?
That's a dead bar. And you know what a dead bar is. A dead bar is basically you got positive delta and a down bar. This is a dead bar. Positive delta.
And again, I'm asking you, are we trapping more buyers while we're doing this?
No, because I look at the COT high and the COT low. Okay. Now, if this COT high was green, that would be trapped buyers.
Okay.
If the COT low was red, that would be trapped sellers. That's how I look at my trapped buyers and sellers. I don't consider just because the delta is green that all of those traders are trapped, even though that is a pretty big number up there for those, for all of those buyers. Yeah, they could.
Let me ask you this. That's your definition. You're using traps based on your COT. Let's throw the COT out, and we're just having discussion here. Let's throw the COT numbers out.
Hey man, don't be asking no trick questions.
Now I got to put you on the spot, because actually I'm bringing out an idea and an idea only. If you see that you're building buyers as you're moving up, but you're getting dead bars where the buyers are being absorbed. Okay.
Hold on for 1 second, Magic. I have to take this call. Take over.
All right. My point more so with everyone was the fact that every time we're moving up to new highs, we're getting trapped We're getting trapped buyers, because 433 should have had an up bar. We didn't have the up bar. We got back up there again. We trapped 600 more. Is that my biggest question to the entire community is, are we building up on something, or is this a good breakout? All saying to you right now, I'm still learning FootPrint, and to me that's a very interesting question. At this point right now, though, we look like we're trying to push back down to the downside.
Okay, I'm back. Had to take that important phone call.
Must not have been a very important call. That's all right.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so So what was your you were asking about taking away the
Just your
COT high,
opinion, just
right?
your opinion in this, right? Every time we're making a new high, because remember, I'm looking at Bollinger Bands. All right, we are on top of these Bollinger on the top bands.
Right.
Okay, but every time we've gone up, we've trapped 433 the first time and made a dead bar. We went right back up there, made a new high again, made a dead bar. Are we continually trapping people? My numbers aren't going to be the same as yours, but are we continually trapping those individuals when at some point the bow has to break?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I just thought I'd put you on the spot. Anybody out there got an idea on that, just as far as that? Does that make sense? Would it be something you'd be interested in?
Right.
I wish I had my 25R to show.
I am looking at your chart, the white chart. Magic looks at the white chart. This is a 12R on the white chart. You're right in the middle of your Bollinger Bands, correct?
Well, now I am, but where I was interested is at the Bollinger Bands as we were building up dead bars.
Right. Right. Now, one thing I do look at, and I'm going to go to this white chart for a minute. One thing I do look at is if you're considering taking a short signal, look, you got buyers, you got 655 here, and then the very next bar, it goes down, you got 8, you got 59. Yeah, you got a single print here. So those buyers are losing a little bit confidence.
Exactly, and we had a trap at the top. Well, inverse imbalances at the top, which is representative of another type of trap.
Right, exactly. Did you get my email, by the way? Yes, I got it. I got it, Tom. Yeah, so, looking at FootPrint, you want to pay attention to lighter numbers, the bid getting lighter as it's going up, and the ask getting lighter as it's coming down. But yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I've always been a little, subjective about trap traders because everybody has their way of looking for trap traders. That was a very good question because I only, like I said, I only look at my trap traders with using the COT high and the COT low.
And that's working out for you. That's exactly what. I look at an inverse imbalance, which is called trap traders. I look at that, but only by location. If I'm outside the Bollinger Band, guess what? I'm starting to get interested. So if you're putting all of that information together, that kind of equated to a possible short. Where you get in, how you get in is basically a personal issue. But FootPrint was starting to give you signals that you possibly may have a reaction up here.
There are so many ways of looking at this FootPrint. And I'm going to ask you guys out there, is there anything that you want to know about FootPrint that we might can answer?
I'm glad you stuck that in there.
Because like Magic say, we're learning too. But, I've had quite a few years with experience with FootPrint now, and I know what I want to see. But what you want to see might be something totally different. There is so much.
Absolutely.
FootPrint has, I'm going to say, unlimited number of signals. There is no signal based in stone saying this is how you trade this. This is not a crossover system or anything like that. When you start looking at these numbers every day, this is what you see, and you have to make the best out of it. If you see some anomalies here and there that don't quite look right, and then that market turns and goes that way, or the way you're thinking because something you saw in the FootPrint, that's you. That's something you see. And if it becomes consistent, that maybe that's something you need to start going back on your history and looking for and seeing how consistent it is.
I totally agree with that. And also, you mentioned crossover. If you are a crossover trader, that's how you trade. Find something in FootPrint that enhances that crossover. You see a crossover and you start seeing large numbers on FootPrint. This is just a hypothetical. Then that may be confirming that crossover that you're thinking about, as opposed to getting whipsaw. You may say, wow, every time I get a crossover, I see delta of over 700 or over 1,000, whatever your threshold number may be. That may be a confirmation that you've been looking for. Maybe you are a 65% trader. You just turned into a 70% trader by eliminating some of your losses. So it's got a lot of different uses. And I still say, and I stress, FootPrint is an indicator. It's not a system. So whatever your approach is, I look to FootPrint to actually enhance whatever it is that you do.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And notice these two big deltas up here. We got 433. We got 600. No follow through at all. No follow through at all. This is an inside day in the E-mini, and right now I have nothing going on. I have no signals going on at all. Now,
this is where we argue, because guess what? Get below the 12R, you may find some trade.
What you say? Go below?
Yeah, because from top to bottom, that's a really nice 6R trade. You know, so it depends on what type of chart you're trying to.
It depends on what type of chart you're looking at. Correct.
Yeah, I got 3 bars. That means, hell, I might even be, you know, if I see that signal, let's say I wanted to take advantage of building trap buyers or trap traders on the inverse imbalance. I've got 1, 2, 3 bars, 2 bars of follow through, which in my world is about 3 points to 4 points. Not bad on an E-mini for a scalp. But if you're looking at a 15R chart, you got a problem, because there is no follow through. You're trading a 15R chart. Your smallest target should probably be 12 ticks.
Exactly. That's usually, I think that's what I have my first target set up as. I think I have it set up as first 12 ticks.
So that tends to be a problem when you're looking at inside days with no follow through. That may be a strategy that you can employ. Maybe I need to go down to a smaller time. You know, it's all up to the trader. I used to be told all the time, this is your world, you make the rules.
Exactly.
A lot of down volume going on. Sellers are really stepping in a neutral world of cumulative delta of 1,500. Not saying a lot as far as your cumulative.
And notice we're flipping back and forth with the delta too. But if I had to take a trade, if I had to take a trade depending on my life, I would probably more. For some reason, I'm leaning toward the long side. Yes.
You'd be long. But structure is starting to break down a bit now, as far as, you know, just higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We're starting to break that down a little bit as well. A lot going on right now. If I had to take an immediate trade, though, I will admit I probably
That's the top secret gadget phone.
I'm waiting on the move that I would expect. I'd pretty much tell you I don't know. Good time to introduce the fair value zone.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fair value zone. Man, you on your P's and Q's today, man. I might have to give you a star, man.
Hey man, they actually let me have 2 hours of sleep last night.
Okay. There's an indicator, and I run this on a separate chart. There's an indicator called the fair value gap. These are one of the indicators that I find some value in. And this particular guy, you can run this indicator, and I will post this also. This is a free indicator, and believe me, I had to go down some rabbit holes to find this particular fair value gap. This particular fair value gap is a multi-time frame fair value gap. The multi-time frame fair gap value gap, you can set it on tick, volume, second, minute, day, week, month, year, whatever you want to set it on. Right now, I have it set on a 5 minute. So even though you can set it on whatever time frame you want. Say like, even though I have it running on a 5 minute chart right now, I can switch this over, and because I know I'm always looking at a 15R, I can go ahead, or let's say a 12R, I can go ahead and set a 12 range chart.
Holy cow! That's the top secret gadget phone.
I can set a 12 range chart, and you will be looking at a 5 minute fair value gap on a 12 range chart.
Hey man, don't confuse my man Texas. Put a 30-minute up there. Show him what I'm looking at.
all right. I'm just showing them they can do multi-time frame. You can, so this is a 5 minute fair value gap on a 12R chart. Okay? I also have a tab here that's running a 30-minute fair value gap, and I have this running on a 15R. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is a 15R chart. This is a 15R chart. So this is another indicator that I will post at the end of the day. And for you guys that's interested in the fair value gap, I think this is one of the better fair value gap indicators out here because it can run on multi-time frame.
Not only that, I mean, how many zones have we gone through over 30 years? I mean, it's been ridiculous, the type of zones, whether it be stacked and balanced, whether it be high-low, from stem to open. There's so many ways to make zones. It's almost like you're trying to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. These are the first gaps that I've seen that have a degree of reliability. They're made based on the volatility from a move on a 30-minute chart or based on a 5-minute chart. And by the way, Texas, I do run a 30-minute on the 12R and I run a 5-minute on the 6R. So I get to see the smaller time frame and see what kind of gaps are being coming off the 5-minute chart as well. So that may be another idea of how you can look at it.
Right.
But these are one of the first gaps that I've seen that have some degree of reliability to it. So
right.
you might want to just check it out for your own library.
Right. And the only reason why I'm not running it on my FootPrint chart is I don't want my FootPrint to look too busy. I got enough running on there. I got the Futures Analytica bands, reversal strength bands running on my chart, and I also have the sessions high and low, starting from beginning of session last night running. So I just run those. I run those bands on a separate chart, and I can always click back and say, okay, we're running into support here, we're running into resistance there. So I do look at the 5-minute and the 30-minute on the same time frame that I'm trading, because here's the key right here. A lot of times when it gets down into that buy zone, which you see on a 30-minute right now, or if it gets down into a buy zone, which you see on the 5-minute, you go to your FootPrint or whatever else you're running, and you see and try to see if you have any confluence that that footprint is telling you to go long or go short right along with that gap.
There you go. A layer on a layer. Putting the clues together.
Okay, you say you can't access the link. You know what? Send me your email. Send me your email, Martinez. Send me your email, topsteprules@gmail.com. I'm gonna post my email up here. Top Step.
Wabbitwanks.
I just posted my email. Send me your email, and I will personally try to get that out to you. I don't know what's going on with that link. Maybe I don't know. They shouldn't have disabled it. I don't think they would have disabled that link. But you copy it. Did you copy and paste that exactly how you saw it? Let me go to that website real quick just to see what kind of problems you're having. Let's see here. Bear with me, guys. I'm making sure this this link is working from yesterday. So yeah, it just asks for verification. They make you take the I call it the crazy test. Make sure you're not a bot. Yeah, it's working. The link is working. And it's in send space. That's for the range bars. But yeah, I was saying that I didn't put my gap on these charts because it just made my chart look too busy. So what you see on my chart, I have the high and low of the session. I have the futures analytica reversal strength zones, and I am also running. This indicator is not free, but there's an indicator that basically draws when bars start to get into a range, and you can see ever so slightly a top green bar and a bottom red bar. When it touches the top or bottom of a particular area 3 times, it draws a range, and you can see where it broke out that range and started grinding to the upside. I don't know. I have it on there just to it just gives me visual confirmation of when we're inside of a range. And actually, you can draw those lines personally. Excuse me. Something else that I like to stress, and I learned this the hard way also. Draw your own trend lines and channels. Draw your own trend lines and channels. I definitely learned that the hard way. There is no program out there that can automatically draw your channels like you can. Period. I have them probably, if they're free, I have them all. And every time I relied on a particular program to automatically draw my channel, it wasn't quite like what I wanted. So
It lagged by at least 2 or 3 bars most of the time.
yeah, and a lot of times it's not quite what I want to see. So, and I'm gonna bring another chart over just so I can tell you guys. This is a 2000 tick that I run for price action. And when I start drawing channels, I like to draw my own channels. Draw your own channels. That way you'll know when it's hitting the bottom or when it's hitting the top of a channel. Because if you get a lot of these programs that automatically draw your channels for you and draw your trend lines for you, in my opinion, they don't quite cut it. There's nothing like drawing your own channels, especially if you get caught in a range. And that way, when I draw my own ranges, I say, okay, we're in a sideways range right now. I'm not looking for anything, even though Magic, this is his thing. When you get in sideways ranges, he's drooling at the lips. He can't wait to pull on a trade. I don't trade sideways ranges. I like to see the V trade type stuff. I like to see the up, down, bounce off the channel, back up to the top of the channel, back down. But this sideways action right here, he's probably looking to take a trade or possibly taking a trade somewhere along here.
Like the downside, got a lot of sellers on the side.
Okay. So yes, draw your own channels. That's, I use like a 2000 tick, or I'll use something like, a 3000 tick or whatever. And that gives me a good idea, because when you sit back and you're looking at this footprint chart, it's not quite the same. The range bars are not quite the same. I mean, you can draw your channels, but it doesn't give formation like a 2000 tick or 3000 tick or whatever. It's just something about the range bars. I don't draw channels on the range bars. It's something about those range bars that just doesn't give it to me like the price action charts do. So that's just another thing. Get used to drawing your own. And when somebody first suggested that to me, I don't know if it was Magic or somebody else. I'm like, I'm not drawing my own channels. I'm not drawing my own channels. I'm going to find something that works automatically for me. No, draw your own channels. That's the best way to do it.
Anybody new, that's about the best piece of advice today that you can get.
A lot of times when you're dealing with footprint, you're not going to get no signals. This is I understand why Mike Valtos thought about actually running the trade room. I don't know if he's still thinking about doing it or whatever, but a lot of times on days like today, and notice, this is sideways action, and back to where my eyes go, look at this daily bar on the E-mini. It's an inside day. It's an inside day. Inside days, you very rarely get follow through. Now, you can pull a trade if you're a fiend for action. Speaking of a fiend for action, those of you who are looking to pull a trade, you might want to trade something that's a little bit more volatile if you just like being in a trade or pulling trades. I've had enough of that. I am no longer a fiend for action guy. I will wait for my signal to come. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Practice your discipline.
Just dropping everything today, ain't you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to. You got to. Practice your discipline. If you don't see a trade, don't feel you have to pull a trade every day. Because once you start pulling trades on the signals you see as high probability, first of all, your lot size is going to start going up anyway. Even if you get one trade a week and you start, accumulating funds in your account, once you get to once you have a certain amount of confidence, and man, you get up to 5-10 lots in the E-mini, that's no chump change. That's no chump change. When I was at the brokerage firm, when I was at Lynn Waldock, I can tell you right now, we were shooting like 2,000 and 3,000 lot E-minis down to the floor. And we couldn't do it over the computer. We would have to call the floor for that. You know, and of course, you know, I couldn't stand calling the floor because you see something on the screen and then they say, okay, hold on for a second. Hey, so they be like, we got one. And we're sitting up, they're entering a 2,000 or 3,000 lot in the E-mini. Be very careful when your lot size starts to get large. Be very careful.
Mercy of the market.
Yeah. And you're sitting up there and right now you're looking at 11 and 12, and you're looking to sell. Okay, we gave you 10. And you be like, give me a time and sales on that, man. Get real, you know? And you know, if you're looking to sell and they give you a load that hasn't even printed yet. Okay, we gave you 10 even on that. 10, give me a time and sales. That's the kind of stuff you see when you're messing with large lot E-minis or bonds for that matter, but bonds are a little bit more liquid. I would say a lot more liquid. And that was at the time back then, you know, so, you know, be very careful when your lot size starts to get up there, be very careful in how you enter your orders. And at that point, I don't like, I like going to the market, but Magic, he does all limit orders on his trades. And when you start doing a certain lot size, you might want to consider doing a limit order. For you guys who don't know what limit orders are, Trading 101, that's where you learn about orders. And you guys really need to know what a limit order is, what a market if touch order is, stop order. They got stop limits. I mean, if whatever market you're trading, learn your orders because that's going to be important to you for how you get filled or how you want to enter the market.
And learn why you want to use it.
And learn why you want to use it, correct.
I guess we should call this the station of hints and clues, but we don't give the answers. Do some homework, you'll get there. How the man in Wall Street say, bring me some information. Don't tell me something I already know.
This right here, notice this low right here from 2254, and we got a higher low of now 1153. For some reason, this market for all this week, this market has been basically sideways, except towards the end of the day. The last, I call it the last hour, or the last hour of power. It rock and rolls. But this right here, you're trying to trade this, you're not going to do anything but get chopped up, not unless you go to a smaller time frame. Now, let me bring something else out that I have running on my other chart. I do look at I'm gonna change this to a 2000 tick. I do have a tick chart running on FootPrint. Change it back to a 2000 tick. I do look at a 2000 tick FootPrint because just in case my 15R isn't kicking out anything and I'm looking at a 2000 tick, a lot of times I'll look at a 2000 tick FootPrint just to see what it's doing. Now, also notice, like I said, now this is a 2000 tick. Notice the deltas aren't as big. The cum is going to stay the same. No matter what chart you go to, that cum delta should stay the same. If you have anything, if your cum delta right now is not dancing around 2300, and you can look at the 2000 tick, you can also look at my 15R, we're at 2300. If your cum delta is not somewhere in that area, go into your data settings. When you go into your data settings, when you see the break at end of day, I have that checked off because I think that makes a difference. If you don't check that off, that cum delta will roll and keep rolling from one day and accumulating from one day to the next, and you don't have a good idea of who's in charge. And the cum delta is basically telling you who's in charge for that day.
Yep.
Cum delta is going to tell you either the buyers are in charge or the sellers in charge. And sometimes you're going to get conflicting information. But make sure all your other information is correct. Because a lot of times, like yesterday, I forgot how it was. How did it go? How did it go yesterday? It was kind of weird yesterday. The cum delta was sitting on the plus side. Was the market up or down yesterday? I can't remember. It's just so much.
Upward, we had upward bias with the Dow, and we had negative bias on the
Right.
Delta.
Right. Your delta might be telling you the opposite of what is actually going on. Those are the days where a lot of times, if you don't understand that, best trade is no trade. Don't just put on a trade. Don't just put on a trade just because. The best trade is no trade. If you're confused about which way to go, sit aside. I like to see all of my stuff in sync. I like to see green delta, and look at this. Even though it says buyers are in control, when I go to my trusty dusty Dow, it's down 18. It's basically unchanged. Even though the cum delta is 2,800 right now. The NASDAQ is basically unchanged. The Dow is basically unchanged. And I keep that, and I like to look at that real time. That is real time, by the way. So I have an idea of what the market is doing. There are so many things to look at. When I put on a trade, or when you put on a trade, I guarantee there are 1,000 different reasons why you should or you shouldn't put on that trade. And you have to filter through that information that you have in front of you to decide, is this a good trade or not? So yes, I do run a 2,000 tick on FootPrint, just so I have a good idea what's happening on 2,000 tick. So if I'm looking at my 2,000 tick FootPrint and I go to my 2,000 tick chart, which I don't have a footprint on at all, and sometimes I will pull a trade off on this chart without taking the cum into consideration. Now,
excuse me a second. Did I just see a slingshot on your chart?
No.
On your 15? Okay.
No, you might have, I don't know. On a 15R, you might have. But yeah, this is my 2,000 tick chart, and a lot of times, if I'm looking at channels on my 2,000 tick chart, and
That's the top secret gadget phone.
this basically keeps me in check of, I draw my trend lines, whether I'm drawing a sideways channel or I'm drawing an up and down channel. That keeps you in check of pulling trades before they go off, And a lot of times I might pull a trade and it's a losing trade. I'm like, why did I pull that trade? I'm in the middle of a channel. If you draw your channels like you're supposed to, whether they're sideways channels or up and down, and I like to see my channels like at this angle, I say 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock, right? I like to see it bounce off the bottom of that or on the top of that. And knowing this channel is pointing up, if it gets to the top of that, that's a counter trade. That's a counter trade because the trend is going up. So no, and that's how I know when I'm in a counter. That's a good idea, a way of looking at if you're in a counter trade or not. But this is a different chart, different things going on. Let's get back to the footprint. But yeah, that's one of the charts that I look at when I'm pulling a trade, and I'm not taking into consideration the cum delta. And Magic asked about a slingshot. No, I do not have a slingshot popping on not on my chart.
You have 1,000 down, and okay, the upside. Never mind.
Now, that slingshot, it's funny that he brought that slingshot up because in my settings, let's go into the settings of this Trade Devil footprint for a second. Where you see there's going to be a settings that says extreme delta level used for markers and signals. I want to see 1,000 up or 1,000 down or more or less. Anything in between, I'm not interested in. And Magic says I'm looking for the unicorn. Yes, I am looking for the unicorn trade. So that's how I have my settings set on Trade Devil's footprint. I have 1,000 or more because I've been burnt too many more times than not on taking trades when it's 1,000 or less. That's on the 15R. That's on the 15R. Find your setting for the 12. Magic, what do you have set for your 12R?
My action numbers are 750. My extreme numbers are 950.
There you go.
Meaning that I normally won't act on anything
Actually,
below 750.
Actually, you know what? Now on your template, you got 950. Do I need to change that to a 750?
No, my action numbers are 750. If I see a 750, my antenna go up. I'm starting to work around numbers like that.
Okay.
Because, and a lot of times if you're seeing 750 all day on the delta, 750 one way or another, that 750 is null and void. You need a number that's outside of the norm is really what I'm looking for.
Right.
So if I'm looking at 200s all day and all of a sudden I see a 700 number, my antenna start going up because the volume went up with a lot of delta based on what's been going on. So a lot of times for me, it's like a comparison from one pivot to another. In this case, it's a comparison from average delta versus extreme delta. That number could change from 500 to 700 to 500. If I'm running 100s all day long, low delta numbers, and I see a 500, I'm going to pay attention. It doesn't mean that I'm going to take action, but it is an action number at that point. Extremes I don't think about. Extreme numbers at 950, normally I'm acting on. If it's in the first or second bar. Which is why you see the 970 not acted on. Actually, we're on the inside day, so I would only be coming off the edges either way.
And what are you looking at a footprint on the 6R also?
I am, yeah. We settled inside at 1013.
Now let me ask you this: can I load up a 6R? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me load up a.
You're going to see 6R going to reflect.
And you have the same you have the same template running on your 6R that you have running on your 12R.
Except for I don't run a footprint on it.
Oh, you do not run you just run the plain 6R. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm only keying in on price formation and Bollinger Band.
Right.
That's all I'm keying in on.
Okay.
That's not made to set up a trade or give me clues. That's made to find an entry after the 12R has given me what I want to see.
And you are running the Bollinger Bands on the 6R, right?
Absolutely, because that's an edge. In fact, that edge, a lot of times you'll see once that comes up that you pretty much call this upward movement with the edge that we picked off on the 6R.
When you get a chance, send me your template for 6R when you get a chance.
All right.
Later on today.
Holy mackerel! That's the top secret gadget phone.
And the Bollinger Band settings you have on is that 2 and 30 also?
2 and 30.
And the mid band is transparent.
Mid band is transparent.
Okay. Just so I have that. I got that with your template also. Okay.
Okay. Now put the band. Okay, there they go. 1013 is the bar that should have been keyed in on.
You say 1013?
Right. You can see where you can kind of mark the 1013. That's where the 970 came in.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you what I'm looking at when it comes to this. Now, key in on 1013 here, you're going to find that we had a close below a Bollinger Band and a sideways day.
Okay, I got 101342 marked. What else?
Right. Mark it with a global. Put a global on that as opposed to just for that chart.
For you guys who don't know what a global is, that means all E-mini charts, when you put a mark on your chart, all that mark will supposedly go to all of your E-mini charts. And there it is, and here it is on the 12-hour also.
Okay, now go back to the 12R, you'll see exactly, we got a closed in on the 6R right here that you're showing, and look where it came in on the 12. You're picking the bottom with the Bollinger Band on the lower time frame. That's a pullback. The reason I was not interested in that is because on an inside day, I don't want to be in the middle of these two bands. I want to be on the end of these bands.
That's for the 12-hour also?
Yes, absolutely. I go 6, 12, 25, 50.
That's right. That's right. You are looking at higher time frames on that.
So when I hit the bottom band on a day that we're ranging upward, that we're trending upward, I would have considered that a pullback under the range. And now I would be starting to look for any type of upward movement.
And let me remind people, even though he's looking at a 6R, his targets are not the same when it's an inside day as if he was taking a trade on a 12R. Because it's a tight range, I think your target's smaller, right?
They're 2 ticks smaller than normal, and trails move quicker. Trailing stops move a little bit quicker.
Right.
Less tolerance.
Right.
I may trail by a down bar as opposed to the low of the last up bar, just to keep it close. I don't want to see a lot of turning around on me.
Now, Magic Trades, I'm gonna put his email up here for you guys. You're Black Chip at Yahoo, correct?
Yeah.
For you guys who want personal consultation with him, he does trade multi-time frame, and he's very good at using the Bollinger Band. So you guys who are interested in trading multi-time frame, you might want to send email to him and inquire about personal consultation. For you guys that are interested, just throwing a thought out there, because this is something you do not learn in 2-3 days. Like I said, he is looking at several charts of different time frames that he's looking for confluence in certain things that gives him the go, whether to go long or whether to go short. We are using two different things here. He likes using multi-time frame. I'm just one time frame. That's why I get less trades than he does. Especially on days like today. Sideways days, sideways in my eye. But in his eye, he sees opportunity.
Opportunity, yep. And basically, a lot of that takes, I would think, years of experience. It's not about the experience per se. It's about a belief system. You've literally got to believe when you see a certain thing that, okay, based on everything else, this is what I'm expecting to happen. And understand how I worded that. This is what I am expecting to happen. If you ever get in the business of telling the market what it should do, you're going to have a difficult time. So I can only say to you that based on research, you may see certain anomalies. And when you see them and you take both sides of that, how many ticks do I normally have to risk on a trade like this when I see it? And how far does it normally go? And you base your trade parameters based on what your research says, not what somebody else tells you, not that somebody says, hey, you can make 6 points in 30 seconds. It ain't like that, because there are certain times that you get in the trade, and because you expect a certain thing, when it doesn't react that way, you may save yourself some money. So it's always good to do your own research, draw your own lines, get your own belief system. We're just here really to give you some ideas that may help that belief system.
Hey man, who makes 6 points in 30 seconds, man? Can I have that?
Hey man, I'm not mentioning no names, not mentioning no names, not mentioning no names. And by the way, I have seen this person do it. It might not be that often, but I've seen them do it. All right? So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, it's pretty much a quiet day today. And if you go in and out of the trade rooms, you go across the internet today, you go in and out of the trade rooms. A lot of times on inside days, I see people with they're in the red. They're trying to get back to break even. So you know that's just one of my philosophies. One of my opinions is inside days. I'm going out. You know, I'm going out and about and enjoy the day. Not that you want to sit here and look at the market all day. And now I understand why Mike Valtos is not running. He said something equivalent to this, but he said, nah, you don't get too many signals. You don't get enough action during the day in FootPrint to run a trade room. I understand why, but reason why I'm running the trade room is I just want to show you guys, you know, some of the techniques that I'm using and Magic is using, and how we look at things, because everybody isn't looking at things the same way. We're just sharing some ideas on, you know, ways to get in and out of the market, or what you might want to be looking for, and so forth like that.
And I guess we've done this because also there's so much in FootPrint that I don't use that can be effective.
Right.
You know, so just throwing out certain things, you may pick up on something and hopefully you'll make the comment. But if you're seeing something, just like I brought out to you the other day, today, when we're building up buyers, but we're moving up and making down bars. You know, that's only an idea. Guess what? If you like that idea, go back and look at it over a nice period of data. You know, don't use a week or two. You know, if you're going to do your research over a very long period of time. And one other piece of advice with that, don't do it by coding it in the computer. Do it bar by bar, the most tedious way you possibly can. I guarantee you, you're going to start seeing different things in the market that you probably didn't notice that's happening over and over and over and over. That's what makes the market.
I can't tell you how many nights Magic has called me and say, all right, man, make a pot of coffee, or vice versa. And then we get on TeamViewer and we start going through trades bar by bar. We might load up a couple months of data and start walking it forward bar by bar and explain what we're seeing or what we think we're seeing. That's how you have to do it.
The one that brings the idea The other one plays devil's advocate.
Right.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, but right. Yeah, but what about this and what about that? You know,
Right.
that's
You
how
can't
that's
ask
how
your
you
own
kick
question.
around ideas with your trading partner. And I would be more than happy to talk to some of you guys on the phone, especially when it comes to trading. I eat, sleep, and breathe trading. That's my
Yeah,
thing.
well, I go to the bathroom every now and then. Man.
Yeah.
I can't think about it.
Yeah, I live, sleep, eat, and breathe trading. This is what I like to do. So, you know, if you got ideas, shoot me an email. We can always hook up on TeamViewer or something and go through certain things, you know, just to, you know, and when you start, you know, talking to somebody who trades on a regular basis, when you can call them on the phone and say, hey man, let's go through this or let's go through that. Yeah, but what about this and what about that? You start to formulate what you're looking to see on what you're looking at. I'm telling you, that works. That works. Because doing it by yourself, you can't do it all by yourself. You're going to miss something. I guarantee you, you're going to miss something. And a lot of people on the internet, you know, a lot of people are just starting off. So they might not be where you're looking, they might not be advanced wise, you know, as far as what you're looking for. I can show you a chart right now. Here's a chart that if anybody knows what this is, give me a real quick comment. Because I'm going to tell you what it is. If anybody knows what this is, tell me what it is. And this is something that I'm working on. So this right here is the hoagie trade. Quant Trader, and he's pulled my code to this, and this is something called the hoagie trade. And I talked to when Bloodhound did a webinar a while back, I asked him to show me how to program the hoagie trade. The hoagie trade, when you get two inside bars inside of an outside bar, and then he has a 10-period moving average, and if it breaks down or up, depending on what your bias is, because you have to take this into context, you're going to make it does pretty well. But this is one of the indicators that I'm looking at with Bloodhound. Okay, I have another indicator here, and this indicator, now this guy, his website, I'm gonna give you his website. I think it's PJS, and it's in the UK. This is the 2B indicator. The 2B indicator, it's another big pattern that people are looking for. And I kind of like been keeping an eye on it, and I did purchase it because, hey, every time that 2B shows up, that's almost like money in the bank. That's almost like money in the bank. So there are quite a few things that I'm looking at.
What time chart are you running that on?
This is on a, I think I put it on the 15R. Yeah, this is on the 15R. Same time frame I'm looking at the footprint on. So this is a 2B indicator. It gives you the A, B, C, and a 1, 2, 3 breakout, and he put the 2B with it. If I'm not mistaken, let me tell you what his website is, because he has quite a few indicators that
Stopping volume.
very interesting on his indicators that he has running. I just posted a link to his website in the chat box. He has the 2B, and he also has a footprint. And his footprint is detailing some things that I'm kind of interested in, and things that he looks at that is very interesting. So I kind of keep up with everybody out there on the internet and the indicators and what they're putting out. And this guy is right behind Trade Devil as far as certain things he's looking for in his footprint. He has a very interesting footprint. So yes, I am always looking at different things that might enhance what I'm doing. Never close your mind to something new. I think I got 30 years experience. Magic has 30 plus years experience. So you're always
I tried to say
evolving.
20, man. Don't be making me old, man.
Yeah.
I'm over 20 years. Let's put it that way.
You're always learning something new. A closed mind is an empty mind. Never turn down information that people are giving you. Just because you got 10 years in doesn't mean you know it all. You are always evolving. If I would have shut down when Magic came to me and said, "Hey man, I got something about OrderFlow," and I think it was right around 2014, 2015. If I would have shut that down, oh man, I couldn't tell you where I'd still be searching for the ultimate red light, green light system. There is no. Let me tell you guys a story.
Oh, see, you're going to make me mad now.
No, I'm not going to make you mad. My daughter came to me, and my daughter wanted to take some trading lessons. And one of her friends is trading. And she said, she came over, she bought a Starbucks coffee and everything, and I sat her down, and I'm explaining to her where you need to start. Here's where you need to start. Because everything you're looking at everything I'm looking at on my 6 screens is an accumulation over years of experience, right? And she wanted to get right to the meat, right to the source. And now I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm a musician, so I majored in playing the clarinet and saxophone. When you start playing instruments, you learn the C major scale. That's the first thing you do. You learn how to get a tone. You learn how to hold your embouchure, right? And you learn the C major scale. Then you start to advance, and then you learn scales: 1 flat, 1 sharp, 2 flats, 2 sharps, and so on and so forth. Then you learn your minors, your E, your melodic scales. That stuff gets deep, right? But anyway, right, Tom, you understand where I'm going with this. You have to start at the beginning. There is no shortcut to learning. When my father put a clarinet in my hand at 6 years, I'm in the 1st grade. So my fingers were too small to cover the holes in the clarinet. Guess what he gave me? Here's a soprano saxophone. So, and the first thing he started to teach me was music theory and how to hold a note and your major scales. That's it. Trading goes the same way. So anyway, my daughter came over and she said, "Daddy, I got a friend that trades." I said, "Okay, let me sit you down and show you how to trade." And when I started explaining to her what she had to learn, she kept throwing in this little phrase, "Yeah, but she got a secret." I kept saying, there is no secret. She is studying. Trust me. She is studying. She is putting in the work. Yeah, but show me what she's learning. She got a secret. There is no secret to trading. That's the moral to the story. There is no secret. The harder you work, the luckier you get. That's a saying. who used to do that saying? Who used to do the Darth Vader voice? That was a commercial on TV long time ago. Who's that? James Earl Jones. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
And then the second one is luck is the result of a prepared mind.
Exactly. This is everything I'm showing you is an accumulation over 30 years of experience. When I'm gonna tell you, when I first started out, all this software wasn't here. The internet wasn't here. I'm looking for the ultimate trade too. And let me tell you, one of the first systems I bought, there was a system that advertised in Futures magazine called Swing Catcher. I just knew that was the key. That was the answer to it all. I bought it. I put a client on it, and we took his 5,000 and turned it into 1,000 in a matter of weeks. So there is no secret. If you think there's a secret, go out there, find it, let me know, come back, let me know what you come up with. That's all I got to say on that. And that's what I kept telling my daughter. There is no secret. And every time she said, yeah, but she got a secret. There's no secret. Hard work is the secret. As my father say, when he would be practicing his saxophone in the middle of the night, he would call it wood shedding. That's what this is. You're wood shedding. If you had a secret, would you sell it? I don't know, Tom. I think it would keep it to myself, man, because if I had the secret and I sold it, everybody and then the market would adjust to that secret, wouldn't it? You know? So yeah, this is just basically hard work and staying up many nights. And I can't tell you how many nights I've stayed up, and the sun will catch you. On some nights, the sun will catch you. So, you know, put in the work. And what we looking at on the Cume right now? 42.51. We're going to stay a little bit online here just to see if we get up to something where we can take a trade. And this is a perfect day like yesterday. The Cume is going up, but we're still inside day. I don't see me pulling a trade off today. Not on the 15R. I don't see me pulling a trade off today. Let me bring my price action chart back over here for a second. This is price action on a channel I drew. Notice it's hitting the top of that channel, came down, hit the bottom of that channel. If I was to take, and a lot of times you can look at the price action and you can say, okay, I got a bullish engulfing. So, you know, this is what happens in price action. You might get some trades in price action, and this is on a 2000 tick that you might not see on a footprint. Now, here is the downside, and there is a downside to looking at a lower, and I settle between. Even though Magic looks at a 12 and I look at a 15, I do glance back at the 12 every once in a while. But the lower you go on that range, if you start taking trades on the footprint, you will get stopped out a lot. The thing is, you're going to have to make up for it by holding those trades with the risk to reward ratio. That's just the bottom line. The risk to reward ratio, you're going to have to hold those trades. If your trade, say like you go down to an 8R, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we started out on an 8R. Did we not?
We did, yep.
Yeah, we started out on an 8R. Then I went to a 10. Then we settled on a 12. And the only reason I look at a 15 now is I'm not looking to pull as many trades, but I like the quality of trades. that it does pull. I don't, the heat, and when I say heat, I'm talking about the stop. I'm not quite comfortable with the heat yet, but I don't like it. But I start, like Magic say, now you bitching and moaning and crying. Yes, when the heat gets put on me, I don't like the heat. But when you start going down to a smaller time frame, you're going to get stopped out a lot. So
it lies more. The small time frames lie more.
right,
I always say it that way.
perfect way to
They
put it.
don't. Yeah, they lie to you more. The longer your time frame, the less you get lied to.
Right. That's a perfect way to put it. So, you can go down to a 7R or 8R or 6R, but you're going to get stopped out more compared to looking at a 12 or 15. And you got some people out there that even look at things higher than that, but that's on a NASDAQ. I think people on the NASDAQ, they're looking at like, I want to say a 31 range or something like that. Right. Tom, the shorter the time frame, the more noise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, Tom, it's when you're having a day like this, non-directional put spreads are like, wow, did he really sit there and do that all day and make money? And great day for that particular strategy.
Yep. So on days like this, definitely have an alternative strategy if you want to get in on the action or if you want to catch this range, which is basically, it ain't doing anything. And my eyes just glanced over to my daily again. Look at that daily. Inside day. And what I will do after I get offline, I'm going to troll my people who I usually look at to see if they had a red day or not. You know, you go into the Discord rooms like Trade Devil or Quant, and a lot of times you might see something where people are complaining about, there's nothing going on today, it's dead today, or whatever the case might be. So this is another perfect example, you know, of, for me, nothing happening today, not unless I was looking at my price action. And price action is something totally different. Totally different. Depending on what you're using, and I am not a fan of, say, I've seen charts with 5, 10 indicators. Indicators lag. Indicators lag. By the time those indicators have made a move, are telling you to get in, the move has already happened. That's why I'm a fan of OrderFlow. That's why I'm a fan of FootPrint charts. Because on the close of that bar, you know by looking at your numbers, whatever you might be looking at, whether it's a go or not. This is actually a dead day for me. It's dead. Here's a chat room. Here's a chat room on picture of a chat room on in Quant Traders room, and basically this guy is saying the name. I named this sandwich price action. Look at the choppiness. Where you getting in at? You know, everybody. I recognize, and you have to put your ego aside. If the day is not your day, then it's not your day. So yeah, I do go in and out of trade rooms, and I try to pay attention to what's going on and who's having good days and who's not having good days. And a lot of times on days like this, it's probably best not to trade, in my opinion. Now, Magic, I guarantee you, tell me, Magic, are you looking for a trade now? Did he get disconnected?
Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I am looking for a trade. We are at the top bands. I am interested in shorts. I said that to you before. We're in a situation where the shorts should come into play. I'm not a guru, but hey, if the action and the numbers and everything else come in the same way, yeah, I'm not adverse to a short trade up here. Once you prove me differently, then I will start with a different strategy. But right now, we're about to, as far as we can get it at the top of the day. So if you turn down with some fierce numbers after coming up here with 1,014 to the delta upside, and you stop, that's something wrong with that. $1,014, I would expect some sort of follow through and a breakout, to be quite honest. At this point, we're at the top of the day. That's what everybody else is waiting for. And because I'm on the inside day, my ears are just open to the fact that we could very well turn around up here.
So, Tom, I take it you've been in the business for a while, also. I'm getting the impression that you have been around since you've been around longer than me, if I'm not mistaken.
You're probably as long as he's been playing the violin.
Great, great, great. Did you put your phone number in the email, Tom? Ah, a pilot. And the guy that I was referring to, there are a lot of traders that actually are pilots, believe it or not. A buddy of mine, I haven't talked to him in years. I actually have a friend of mine who still communicates with this guy in the Washington, D.C. area. This guy, from what I understand, was an Air Force pilot also. And he's a very good trader from what I understand, but haven't talked to him in years. He is a pilot also. And you finish your degree and join the Air Force. So man, if you're a pilot, you should have all kinds of AI programs over there ripping and running, trying to figure out these high probability patterns, man. Oh, so you got quite a bit. You got quite a bit of time in. You got quite a bit of time in. Wow. You active duty in 2005. You got quite a bit of time in. Cool. Yeah, my father was in the Air Force also. Oh, you're not that much older than me. You got me by some years, but you're not that much older than me. Cool. Congrats.
No comment.
Congrats. I think Magic is a little jealous us youngins are in the room.
You got that right.
Magic's a little jealous. Too many young people in the room for him. I would actually like to see a rollover on this 12 Magic, but we're not. We're just not.
Hey,
We're
hey,
just not
no
getting it.
man, we're struggling up here. We are struggling. Right now, we're trapping 500 dudes.
And by the way, guys, if this bar closes down, I would be comparing that 500 to this last time I got up here was 655. So not quite that much less, but if it gets any higher and that ask up there gets any lower, that would be definitely a sign that we could be looking something to the downside. But look at that Cume Delta. We back down to on the Cume Delta. We're sitting at 5,000 right now, and we're at the
We're
top of the
building up these
bands.
buyers. We're building up a lot of buyers. There's no reason we shouldn't break out to the upside with these numbers.
And on my
So
reversal
that,
strength bands, we're at the top of my reversal strength bands also.
yeah, so it's a lot of kind of different types of resistance up here anyway.
Right, right. At the highs of the day, Mike Valtos has something called the strong hand. I don't quite remember. I had it programmed in.
It's where you make a new high and the turn bar is as equally strong to the downside.
With a is
Strong
that
hand,
with
weak
is that
hand.
with a, is that with a stronger lower delta or higher delta also?
Right,
Right.
right.
Well, lower delta on the high side and higher delta on the low side. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, give you a good example. If you got 1,000 to the upside on the high of the day, and the next bar you turn down for 700 or 800 or more for less, minus 700, minus 800 or more, then that's an anomaly. At the high of the day, you would expect a breakout. That's more of a reversal.
Right.
I can't believe this bar is taking so long to be made right now.
I can. It's 11:30. I can believe it.
You and your time, man. You and your time.
I can believe it.
There's 700 people trying to push this over the hump here, man.
And if they can't push it over the hump, that's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot because it's 1,700 for 2 bars,
Right. That's saying a lot.
2,700 for 3 bars.
Right.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of buying right there.
I also noticed on your 12R you got a stopping volume down there at 10 and a quarter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which that would negate that as well at this point if we're breaking through it. That would kind of confirm the strength if you're going to break stopping action. $3,200 to the upside. Wow.
Okay, we got buying, we got action here. Something's going on. I guess they want to make new highs of the day or something.
All to the Jones has come to the building.
We're actually hitting the top of a channel on my price action chart, so I'm kind of a little leery up here, careful up here. We can get just a tad bit more higher, then it's going to roll over and go ahead on down. That's what I'm thinking, or pull back, so to say.
Definitely making a new high without much momentum.
You got Delta 2600, man. That's a lot.
I'm looking at the MAC momentum.
Ah, the max. You been talking about the max Delta?
No, the MACD actually.
MACD.
The momentum on the MACD is not
Okay.
really showing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Staying around pretty neutral at this point, but it's building. Deltas,
I don't know.
can't say much about as far as min max delta giving me any kind of a hint.
We got strong buying here. We're at 33, 3,100 now on the delta. Higher volume,
That's
higher volume, stronger delta.
what's the high here? 16 quarter.
Looking at 16 quarter, and I would be comparing this, and you guys are paying attention now, I would be comparing if this bar closed down, which it doesn't look like it is, but if the bar closed down, I would be comparing that. I think that's a 60 up there or a 69. I want to say it looks like a 60 on the footprint compared to a 655. So the buyers have definitely thinned out up there.
Less interest.
Less interest.
And we got 89 at the bottom, which is saying that the sellers have some interest.
89 or 49?
Please be an 8. I know I can't see, but I think that's an 89.
That is an 89. I was going to say, change your dollar store glasses, man. Okay. 12 hours about to close. If this bar closes down with this big green, that's definitely a load shot. Definitely a load shot. I'm not going to mess with it, though. I've seen better. The momentum is definitely not here for me today to pull a short. But if I was looking to a trade, I would be looking for a short trade right about now. And a lot of times, I'm going to tell you something that I've noticed. A lot of times, when these bars close down and you got a green delta, a lot of times you will get a pullback and the delta will end up being red on that next bar or so. And that would be a sign of go. So right now we're looking at a plus 2,100. We got 600, we got 433, we got 600, we got 2,100. Not looking for a short up here. Even if this bar closes down, that would be a load shot. But for some reason, I see pullbacks up into this area again, and then that delta turns red, or the bar following. Maybe not that bar, the next bar, but you start to look down somewhere down the line. One of those bars is going to close in this area with a red delta. That would catch my attention. Here we go with a load shot. It's coming. Twilight Zone. Hey man, you didn't remind me to change that wave sound, man.
Forgot. You already talked about how old I am. XGH, welcome.
Yeah, we're going to get a load shot on this. Definitely going to get a load shot on this. Then too, I've seen it come down to within a tick of the close. And also notice, this is what I like about the range bars with this bar marker. You know where it has to get down to, and one tick below, it has to get down to 12.25 in order for this bar to close. Or it has to get up to 16.5 in order for that bar to close up. So that's what I like running. That's why I like running this particular range bar, because it has a bar marker and it gives you a good idea. If I was looking to go short, I would put my order one tick or two ticks below that red line or above that green line to go long. That way you know that bar is closed. You won't, if you're trying not to run ahead of the bar, that way you know that, hey, this is where this bar closes at. So in essence, that line stops you from getting in too early if you don't want to get in before the bar closes.
Trader Cat, how many years ago was that you played the violin?
Bar doesn't want to close down, man.
Didn't want to close up either.
Didn't want to close up either.
More than a year ago. Okay.
Yes, Texas Palette. It's you definitely go down to a lower time frame on the range for scalping. What's your
Exactly.
what's your ATM look like on that seven range scalper? How do you set your ATM? I'm always interested in seeing how people set up their ATM strategy on the scalper. On scalper trade anyway.
Targets and stops.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Okay, you do 8 to 10 ticks at a time. Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right.
So you're all in, all out. You don't have a runner with your with your trades, or you're just all in, all out on 2 contracts. All in, all out.
Okay. Now he's got a runner.
Okay, cool.
He's a little more bold than you are, Tom. You just want the money.
Okay, so we got a load shot up here. We got not minus, we got a plus 1184. We got 433, 600. Notice how this delta's building up on down bars. I would be almost tempted to take a trade to the downside on this. And I used to just flat out get in when I saw a delta like this. But I'm a hold tight for a minute and see what happens here.
I got about 4 points of skin on this.
And I can hear Mike Valto saying, "What are you waiting for? What confirmation are you waiting for?"
Of course, that's Mike Valto's favorite saying.
That same here. It says, "For the run, I keep my finger on the close button, ready to get out quick." Yes, I am the same way. And a lot of times when I get out quick, here's what Magic plays. He plays the chicken sound.
I do.
Yes, I keep my finger on the button too. I don't blame you.
This is for the both of you.
For you guys who want all my wave files, just remind me to post those under the video also if I forget to do so, and just copy them into your sound file or your sound folder that's under NinjaTrader. when you get a chance. Hey man, that's delayed effect, man. Turn your volume down, man.
I'm on the radio listening to myself talk.
No, man, I didn't get a chance to shorten it yet. I actually have a program where I can edit WAV files, and there were a couple of WAV files that I tried to correct. Like there was one in Trading Places and a couple of other ones, but the Twilight Zone. Now I'm going to shorten that a little bit. I think it's a tad bit too long. I just want the ding 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 ding. I just want the Twilight. I don't want to hear the talking. I just want the Twilight sound.
Audacity.
Yeah, I forgot what program I have to edit my WAV files, but I think I had that, or I was trying that at one time. But there was one I found I got comfortable with, so that's what I edit my WAV files with. And notice, even though we got a load shot up here, you have to be, well, I think it's going to make me look bad now but you know, it's taken a long time to fall off. It's taken a long, when I get in the trade, man, it's time to go. I want to see that bar move. Look like it's starting to get a little bit of movement in it now. But yeah, that ask on top of that bar, 16 verse 655, you got 16 on that 1184, you got 69, and back there on the 600 you got 600. So those are the kind of things that I look for. Those are the kind of things that I look for when I'm looking at the buyers. 655 versus 69. We're starting to fall off here a little bit. But and also look at the Cume. Now the Cume, back when it was 600, even though it's 655, we had 2428. But also notice on that last pivot of it plus 1184, we have the Cume has increased to 5971. So that's not good either. It's not less buyers. It seems like more buyers are committed to the long side to me. More buyers are in charge.
No selling at the bottom of this.
Is that what they're doing?
It's no selling at the bottom. We only got 18 sellers at the bottom of this bar. We really need to close down in order for this to keep moving. Because if this turns up, you know, it's almost going to be no interest at all in selling.
Yeah, exactly. Now, unless some big trader like you comes in and pushes the market down, man.
Already called my friends. We trying to get down to 05, man. We're trying to get to 05. Which is an impossibility right now, the way things look.
You looking for it to go back down? Where's your? I ain't even got to ask you where your band's at.
6 R's at
four and a half.
9.5.
Yeah, the 12 is sitting at 4.5
on the 12. Yep.
Right. My reversal strength is sitting at 5,300 even.
I got 928 to the downside on the pivot bar, and I am trying to make another 1,000 on this bar if we were to close down.
One thing I really get to see is I I see what you're looking at on your 12 compared to my 15. The bids are the same, 18, but I got 209 and I see 153 at the top of a 12R.
Mm-hmm. And you've got the big dead bar. Mine isn't.
Right, and I have a dead.
All my sellers came in on the action.
But you got a pretty big flip there, man. You went from
Got a huge flip.
Yeah, plus 3,200.
9.
Yeah, you went from plus 3,200 to a minus 9. I got a minus 928 on the 12 on my 12R. So, yeah, that's a pretty big flip, but it's not
I
going
wished
down.
I had volume on both sides. That would have been fun
Yes.
to get volume on that one there.
So for you ladies and gentlemen that are new to the channel, this is Top Step FootPrint. We're not giving out any systems here. We're just basically giving you ideas or let me say this, ideas that me and Magic, that's his nickname, I call him Magic, that me and Magic see on the charts. He's looking at a 12R range chart with Bollinger Bands. And I look at a FootPrint chart along with my price action chart on another screen. And we just giving you ideas on how we like to look at things. If you got anything, any ideas, any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Do not hesitate to ask. We'll try to answer anything within our means. But if you want to get a better understanding of FootPrint, is what I notice. I notice a lot of people in different chat rooms. Don't let a FootPrint chart intimidate you. Do not let a FootPrint chart intimidate you with all these numbers. Just go for it. Just you know, if you got any questions to ask me or Magic, just ask us, and we'll be happy if we can to answer your questions. And Trader Cat.
A little bit too volatile for me, Trader Cat. I'll look at it, but I don't trade oil anymore. Had bad experience early on in life. Thought I'd never do that again.
Let me tell you a story about crude oil. In 1990, this is when Saddam Hussein, is that Saddam Hussein? Went to war.
Yeah, when they caught him in a hole.
Yeah. Saddam Hussein. We went to war with Saddam Hussein, and I was just getting into trading, and this is why I don't mess with options. Right? I had a very bad experience with options, and of course I'm just starting out. I'm thinking I'm going to make a quick $1 million and so forth. So anyway. Saddam Hussein has started bombing the oil fields, and basically, I think Bush Sr. was president at the time, and he started bombing the oil fields, and I just got in, and I had a little bit of money to dabble in the markets. So me and a partner of mine had put up some money. I think this was before I met you, Magic, and we went ahead and we got crude oil options. Crude oil options. At the time, crude oil was trading, if I'm not mistaken, right around $26, $27 a barrel. That was a lot back then. Okay? I think the average price of crude oil was like $17 a barrel. So me and a partner of mine, we put our money together, and I don't remember how many options we got. I just remember the money. We put up $7,000. I put up $3,500, and my friend put up $3,500, right? And we bought $7,000 worth of call options. The options, I remember this, were $27 calls. I knew a guy in Silver Spring, Maryland, because I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, and this guy was an IB out of his home. I don't know. I don't even know if he's still around there. I hope he is, but I don't even know if he's still around there. This is a much older guy. And Mark was his name, by the way. And Mark said, well, I can get you into some $27 calls. And I'm assuming right before the United States started bombing Iraq, Crude was looking to go to the moon. And I said, oh no, I'm going to make a killing, right? we got $7,000 worth of $27 call options. Here's what President Bush Sr. did. As when they started, and let me remind you, back then, you did not have access to real time of what was going on. At that time, we bought a Wall Street Journal, and only way we knew what was going on was we would open up the Wall Street Journal the next day and look at the price. If you had real time back then, man, you were good, but that wasn't a common thing in the households back then. In 1990, there was no such thing as everybody having a computer and cutting on your computer and seeing what's going on around the world. So Saddam Hussein was bombing Iraq and crude oil was going to the moon. Lo and behold, I go get $7,000 worth of call options, and it wasn't many because of the volatility that was in the options at that particular time. And what we did was we bought $7,000, and it might have been like 3 or 4 at call options at the most. It might have been less than that. I just know it cost us $17,000, and that was including commissions, and Mark wasn't charging us a lot of commissions. So the next day, when the United States started bombing Iraq, it wasn't at daytime, it was nighttime when they started, nighttime here on the East Coast when they started bombing Iraq. I was so happy. I'm like, oh, we're going to make a killing. These call options are going to the moon. What do you think President Bush did? He opened up reserves. He opened up the reserves oil, and fucking crude oil fell out of bed. It went down the limit. I want to say it went down the limit for like 2 days straight. And I saw my $7,000 turn into like 500 or whatever it was in a amount of no time.
Hey man,
no time.
At least you capped your losses.
And that was my introduction to crude oil options. and let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you guys who are thinking about options. It's not as easy as if you think prices are going to go up, buy a call, and if you think prices are going to go down, buy a put. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. So that was my story on crude oil options, and I can tell you many more stories when I worked at the trade desk at Lynn Waldock up in Chicago. But that was my first real experience in trading options and not knowing what I was supposed to do. And just imagine, YouTube wasn't here. Facebook wasn't here. None of this internet stuff. I don't even think AOL had gotten famous yet. So, and yes, Trader Cat, I'd rather trade futures than deal with options. Futures are a lot easier to trade than options. You better know what you're doing if you're messing with the options game. And you're talking research, Telemagic, Tell them about the classes you took. And Magic took classes on stock options, so he knows.
Yeah, one day I think I stopped trading the future side for about 2 years, maybe 3 years, and before I decided, okay, I'm going to trade stocks when I come back. And in essence, I just wanted to make sure that I knew what stocks was all about. So I'm going to spend $3,500 on a nice little course to make sure I know what stocks are about. Well, lo and behold, I wasted $3,500 because trading is trading is trading, but I didn't really know that. So I spent $3,500 to confirm that they're not doing anything different from what I was doing in futures, more so. To be quite honest with you, stocks are a situation that the only difference was I really couldn't afford to trade a stock outright. So I ended up in the options game. And what I found was, to my very little success, but I found that options, if you don't know trading, then you don't know options. That was the lesson that I learned from that. If you can't read a chart, then you're not going to do very well with options either. I thought there was another secret where it came to, because I'm trading stocks, maybe I don't know this, but the option itself is just an extension of what you see on the chart. I tended to do more swing trading, a lot more swing trading. We had a investment group that I was the trader with, and my funniest experience was that everybody in the trading group had 3 years or less of experience as far as trading was concerned. So by default, because I had 10 or 11, I was the trader. And the young lady, after about, I think we took the account from 7,000 to about 10,000, but it was about 7 months. And the young lady called a meeting and said, I don't like what you're doing, because you're taking 2 steps up and 1 step back and 3 steps forward and 1 step back. And I said, well, I thought that's what trading was about. She said, no, I think I can do better than that. So we allowed her to trade. Well, the first trade she took, I don't know if you guys remember the big tech stock called RIM, R-I-M-M. Well, they were the makers of BlackBerry. And at the time, weren't doing very well, but because she had a BlackBerry phone, she decided that that was going to be her first investment. Needless to say, BlackBerry went from about $45 down to about $12, and she never got out. So I called a meeting and I asked her, what are you going to do with this right here? I mean, what's the plan? She said, well, I really don't know what to do. Irritated as I was, I just brought everybody in the investment club over to the computer. I said, here's what you do when you don't know what to do. And I hit the close button. After that, the investment club broke up. So, just a word to the wise. Make sure all your traders are bouncing off each other, because, it's very, very difficult for one person to represent 5 or 6 unless there's a contract there. Everybody thinks they can trade. Everybody hopes they can trade. But I'm more like Top Step's daughter. I want to know the secret. By the way, folks, I just want to announce this because I just want full disclosure. I am short from 14 3/4, and my stop is above the pivot at the top. It's a 7-tick risk, 8-tick risk, and I really don't have a lot of problem losing this kind of money with a 2 lot of ES. My first target is 10 ticks. My second target hopefully will be the actual tunnel at the bottom of the 12-hour chart. I doubt I get there, but I will be trailing until I do. That will be my ultimate target as far as a runner's concerned.
As of next week, we are working with a program where he will have access to this computer, so you guys will actually see trades that go on as he puts them on in a demo account here. Him getting in and out of trades, and he's going to explain why. As the same with me. So hopefully by next week we'll have that program down where we can look on each other's computer and have that on screen as well. Trader Cat said him and his mom lost on RIM too.
Held it to 0, did you? Okay, you believed it was coming back too, huh?
Tom, the program I'm talking about, this is a program almost like TeamViewer. And this program is basically where, where he can look on my screen and pull a trade off. So that way he would you guys can see what he's trying to do also.
This is pretty much a top picker situation. I am pretty much looking at the numbers and decided that I would be short. Usually when I'm doing that, I use a stop of 8 to 10 ticks because my target is always 10 to 12 ticks. So I do want risk reward built in, which is also why I use a lot of limit orders. We're getting heavy up here. That's about all I can say. I hope your VWAP is somewhere in the area of my first target, Texas.
Are we rolling over here? We look like we're trying to roll over here.
If we don't, I'm in trouble. So, hey.
Look like we're trying to roll over here.
Yeah, I've got a slight volume area between 13 3/4 and 13 1/4. If I can get through that, I might have a shot.
And what's your first target, or your only target?
The first target is 12.
Okay, so you're looking for 12. So this bar needs to close.
First target is 12. Oh, that's 10 ticks.
Yeah, this 12R needs to close.
Exactly. And please don't turn up at that point. Going through it.
What's your entry price?
14 and a half.
Okay.
Bought it on the way up. Sold it on the way up. $6R tunnels in the way.
Texas say VWAP is sitting at 10.5.
My man, that's where my bottom tunnel on the 6R is sitting. So that may be a secondary entry if I get a little giddy. It's about 3.5, 14 ticks.
We gotta get that program up and running this weekend, man. I'm gonna take a coffee break.
The health nut drinks coffee. It always gets me. And I do want to stress that this would not be a trade. Thank you very much. This would not be a trade that I would take if I were not on a semi-inside day. Because I tend to trade off the edges, pretty much counterintuitive. And hopefully you just pull off 2, 3, 4 trades at the tops and bottoms before it actually breaks out. Somewhere it should break out. All right, we're down to the VWAP now. Last target for me is 06. I am trailing by the POCs. I'm 2 ticks above the last bar POC. So we're actually giving 1 tick back. We've taken 10 ticks off.
You hit your target?
I have hit target, the first one, yeah. We're on Texas VWAP now. Now I'm trying to stretch it and be greedy, of course. I'm trailing by 1 tick above POC. Last POC.
You're at 14 and 3/4?
14 3/4. There you go. Perfect.
See, I don't like giving money back. That's the difference. That's another difference between me and Magic. I gives nothing back. Once my first target is hit, my second runner immediately goes to 1 tick to break even plus 1 tick. I gives nothing back. Once my first target is hit, my second runner. Magic's playing the chicken sound. That's all right. I'm good with that. Get your editing stuff together, man.
Yeah, man. No, I'm gonna be talking to Tom soon. He had me straight on the tech side soon. Trader Cat. This is yeah. I mean, it's a good trade because we hit target. But quite honestly, I don't want to take a trade for 12, 14 ticks and that's where it ends. That means I got lucky probably. I'd like to see a trade move 16, 20 ticks because my philosophy normally is to take it out of the middle. So if we start turning up as soon as I hit target, it's not that I'm mad about it, but at the same time, you know, it's to me, it's a slight sign of being lucky.
I do have fading momentum signal on the 15R. Of course, I'm not getting any follow through. You got a little better follow through on your 12 than my 15.
That's because I got little bars, man. Little bars. You got them big bars.
I got the Chester bars.
You got the Chester bars. And we are bouncing off of a 6R tunnel. Should have went on and took my money at 10.5. We'll see.
At least one of us pulled off a trade today. That's very good.
It took forever to get there.
But you ain't out yet, though, because your entry is what?
14.5.
Your entry is 14.5, and we're looking at a stop at.
Yeah.
You're risking 1 tick on the last contract.
Correct. If I can get a 6R bar to turn down, my stop's going to go down to 13 even.
6R bar. So you got one up on the 6R, right? One green bar on the 6R. It hit the bottom band and turned up, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have MACD running on that 6R also?
I do.
Okay, remind me to get that template from you.
All right.
If any of you guys that been watching, you guys have any questions or
Ideas.
we're always open. Like I said, this is not a system. FootPrint is not a system. It just gives you information that you can act on. That's all this is. And it's up to you where you take the trade, whether you're going long or short. We are presenting no systems here at all. Understand that. Nothing is written in stone. The trade Magic just pulled off, he pulled off that trade based on what he's using. Bollinger Bands, MACD, among some other things. Trades you see me pull trades off on is going to be based on whatever I'm looking at. So if you got any ideas, we're more than welcome and more open to, you're never too old to learn.
Link 100, how you doing today, my friend? Welcome to the room. Okay, got some hesitation at this band on the 6.
Actually, it's trading in the range like it did on me yesterday.
It went right back into it, yeah.
Do you even want to risk a tick, man? Get somebody to pay for lunch, man. Get that tick profit, man. Lock in a tick on that, man. What are you talking? What are you doing, man?
Hey man, we got low on the 6R. We're gonna play this on out here. We got money in the pocket no matter what. I got lunch already.
Yep, we got a lower high and a lower low. So, yeah. Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, Trader Cat, that's Kiss order flow on that Delta. But I don't know if you caught it. I don't know if you caught it or not. And I'm gonna paste it again. There's a formula that Cubic guy, I don't know his name. If you're online, give me your name. But he put a formula for the volume and the delta, and I will repaste that again, so you'll be able to, if you don't have Kiss order flow, you will be able to almost look at the same results like Kiss is doing on top of the TDU. So you can see your delta and the volume on that bar. You're gonna have to make a few adjustments, but that's where we go. And no, Vink, I have not stopped using the ratio.
Just on another chart.
Yeah, actually the ratio. There's nothing there for the ratio. And I only want to see ratios when it's above 30, exhausted, or defending at 0.69. Get my template. It's under the last video, Trader Cat. I think that volume formula is already inside that template, if I'm not mistaken. And all you have to do is cut it on under volume statistics, or bar, not volume statistics, bar statistics. This is Magic's template. He looks at a 12R. You can see he has different colors than mine. And I always look at somebody else's chart too and say, hey man, my chart don't look as good as yours. I always go over his house. We play World of Tanks a lot. And I say, man, how come your screen looks better than mine? Somebody's screen always looks as good as yours. So yeah, and when we play World of Tanks, I always say his video graphics looks better than mine. But I got a better video card than him.
Turn to the 6R chart real quick. I want to bring out a point.
Okay.
But because we're hitting that Bollinger on the bottom band right now, and I'm getting a little bit nervous. I actually put my stop 2 ticks above the pivot, which is at 13.25 now. The worst case scenario is I'll make 5 ticks on this runner.
Oh, very good.
And basically the 13.25 is close to an up bar on the 12R charts as well. You know, so I could actually put it at a point where you just turn it off until the bar changes on the 12R. But right now, like I said, I'm bouncing off of, I have a belief system when it comes to these Bollinger Bands. I know that there's a reaction comes off of them, and I don't know how much it'll be. I also have positive delta, which means that I can't really look for much of a runner if there's going to be issues hanging on. So what I'm really looking for is for this to break through this Bollinger Band and kind of ride the band on the way down. At the same time, I'd like to see the band turn down with it. That will give me an opportunity to possibly make target, but right now it's getting a little bit iffy. So I did, just to let you know, full disclosure, I brought my target down 2 ticks above pivot. 6R pivot, not the 12R pivot.
That's exactly what I was looking at. And the 2 ticks is, you say 13 and a quarter?
2 ticks is 13 and a quarter.
The high is 12 and 3/4. So yes, 2 ticks is 13 and a quarter. Okay, so you're right. You're right above the pivot.
Right, and we're in at 1450. So worst case scenario, we've made 10 on one, and we'll make 5 no matter what. Maybe 4, depending on what market conditions will be.
Okay.
That pivot's not going to move at this point.
Right.
Or rather, the stop's not going to move for a minute unless I get some sort of breakdown. Just curious, Texas, would you be all in, all out at this point, or would you have actually looked for a runner? Just curious. Boy. Struggle. That's why you don't like these, Mo.
Yeah, I'd have been chickened out by now. You know my famous 4-letter word. I'm out. Fuck this shit. I do not like this kind of sideways action. And this is an inside day. This is how Magic trades the inside days. I leave the inside days to him. This is his specialty, so to speak. I think this is his specialty. We'll know after this. We got a saying in Chicago, you're only good as your last trade. So we'll know after this trade, but he's already locked in 10 ticks. So this trade is a winner no matter what. He cannot lose on this trade. And let me say something that we used to say in Chicago. Every time we told a customer something, we always said on a not held basis, because that market will turn around and jerk on you, and your stop is not guaranteed. So don't ever think that your stop guarantees you that price. Don't ever think that. They can blow through your stop, it can gap above your stop, and they can give you the high or the low above or below your stop. Trust me, I've seen it in real time, real action.
Yeah, Trader Cat, I do use Bollinger Bands quite extensively on days like this. I am going between the 10R and the 6R. A lot of times trying to track where's your resistance and where's your support. Bollinger Bands are merely a moving support and resistance. That's all they are. If you're in an uptrend and you're hitting the bottom band, normally you're going to get a reaction off the bottom band. If you're in a downtrend on a higher time frame and you're hitting the upper band, you're normally going to get a good reaction off the upper band. So you're simply trying to find where's the pullback area on trending days. And on inside days, you're trying to find where's the support and resistance place. So right now, the reason I am a little bit nervous is because we are at static support if you look back to the left, and we're also riding on a support level of the Bollinger Band itself too. So this is very much a double whammy unless we can get a nice. I'd love to see, like the last bar on the 12R, we got 896 to the downside. That's the kind of follow through I need. Those are the numbers I'm looking for.
I do have increasing delta, negative delta now. And it's hitting the bottom. It's basically hitting support. So I would not blame I would not blame you if you decided to tighten up your stop or get out here.
My stop gets tightened on a 3 down on range bars. I'll be right over the range where I can go to 1250 right now. As long as I got 3 down, I can go to the second bar and use a resistance to that. So I'm at 1250. Move that down. So 1250 in at 1450. I'm an 8-tick winner on this last piece right now. Not hill, Mr. Top Step.
This is a channel just where we have a little fun, just to learn some new things. We don't take nothing personal on this channel. We're always joking with each other all the time, so. But we're serious when it comes to the money.
Got that right.
We're serious when it comes to the trading. But, you know, this is I told when I decided to start this, I told Magic, I said, hey man, you just be yourself.
And I said, are you sure? Trader Cat, I would say also, Bollinger Bands help me trade on inside days, which are normally ranging days. Ranging days, you can be on an outside day. I'm probably not using this. I'm looking for higher highs, higher lows as a trend. I am not familiar with the O'Hare trade. Would someone care to expound?
That's Tom who asked that question.
Yeah, that's the kind of participation I need. Here we go. I want you as my pilot. I need you as my pilot on that one. Oh, absolutely.
See, Tom, you just reminded me of a story. I got to tell this story. I'm trading a Swiss franc, and I'm working for a brokerage firm in the Washington, D.C. area. This is back in 1990 again. So, and this is when you could trade on the futures. You could trade the Swiss franc. I think you could trade the British pound, which you still can. I don't know if you is the Swiss franc even can you even trade futures on the Swiss franc now? You had
I think they're known as the
Dutch mark,
US 30 or something like that.
Yeah, you were able to trade the Dutch mark. So anyway, he's talking about putting on a trade and leave the country. So anyway,
Wabbit Wakes.
the brokerage firm I was working for, I was a broker. So I just and all I was using was stochastics back then, and I had access.
Unreal.
I had access to I think I was looking at 30-minute charts or something like that, and I'm trading a Swiss franc, and my account goes negative for a split second. So the guy, and I was working from home this day because I knew I wanted to trade, and I had all of the phone numbers to the trading floor. So anyway, I'm putting on the trade, and the guy calls me. He say, "Man, are you crazy?" And the office was in Tysons, Virginia. So he says, "Man, are you crazy? Why are you putting those trades on? You're going negative." And I say, "Okay, I'm sorry. I won't put the trades on no more." But my account was already dabbling in the red. I think I was like minus 100 or 200 at the time or whatever it was. So the trade is going. The Swiss franc trade is going. And I say, you know what? I got to put on one more trade because I just know this Swiss franc is going to fall out of bed. Lo and behold, I did not know they were playing with interest rates this particular day. That's how green I was to the game, right? And I just saw the Swiss franc was going to fall out of bed. Let me tell you guys, and this is $12.50 a tick. I called the floor. I told them to sell me another Swiss franc. And lo and behold, they did. I forgot what they did with interest rates, but the Swiss franc fell 200 points. You talking about the smile on my face. And
yeah,
when
my best story is Swiss franc as well.
I
made 1,500 per contract in like 10 seconds, and I had 4 contracts on, and I said, "Oh man, I can do this every day."
and I remember going into the office the next morning, and everybody was looking at me like, "Holy shit, you pulled that trade off!" And I just remember getting called into the office, and I'm not going to tell you the guy's name. Somebody might know him out there. And he said, "But what if you had lost?" And I remember looking at him smiling, and I said, "Yeah, but I didn't."
Little did you know.
Little did I know I must have been out of my mind back then.
Got to live and learn. Got some good experiences and a lot of bruises and scratches.
Yes.
By the way, guys, I did get stopped out at 12:50. 5 ticks from the 5 ticks off the start.
From your entry. 5 ticks from your
From my
entry.
entry.
So
Yeah.
you locked in 10 ticks on your first contract and 5 ticks
Right.
on your second. Very good.
5
Very
ticks
good.
on the second.
Very good. Tom said the notes, warning, and cautions in airplane manuals are written in blood, similar to traders. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Man, seems like all you had was a pullback on that 6R. Look like we're going to take another stab at the bottom again.
I'm good with that.
You good. He's out. He's made his 15 ticks. He is good. For those
I'm
of you,
good.
for
Because
those
literally, I would have been taken out on the upper side of that pivot anyway. So I feel much better. Had it not taken the pivot out, I might have felt like I got screwed. But to be quite honest with you, everything's not going to do exactly what you want each time.
Very good trade. Very good trade. 15 ticks. I'll convert that for some of you guys. That's 3 points and 3 ticks. Very
No,
good,
do it
very
even
good.
better. $375.
Yeah. We're starting to get a little action here on this. We got a comparison here on this 15R. That's starting to show up. We got that 1184 at the top of the pivot, and now this down bar on the pullback, which is the second bar down now, is minus 495. I am not going to take a trade because it embarrassed me yesterday because there was no follow through once I got in. So I'm not going to do it today. And we're definitely on the inside. Matter of fact, the daily, I just looked over at the daily. it's basically where it opened up at. So I don't do.
Get you down to 6/4, man. Go ahead. I can get you down to
You
six
can get me
quarter.
down to 6 1/4. No,
Yeah.
can you guarantee me that?
Hey man, not hell, not hell. I can get you down to 6 1/4 though.
And I'm looking at my old trusty Dusty. My old trusty Dusty. For those of you who don't know, my old trusty Dusty is the cash on the Dow. We're up only 6. We're down 24 on the Nasdaq. Nah, I'm gonna leave it alone. I just take so many things into consideration when I'm thinking about pulling off a trade.
Come on, man. Just you admitted it once. You got a little phobia about inside days. That's all.
Without a doubt. The inside days personally has showed me who the boss is. And it definitely ain't me.
I think Tom should teach you about a straddle with options, man.
I would consider that.
A day-long straddle. There you go.
But yeah, this is the Traders channel. This is the Traders new channel. I know some of you guys, unlike me and Magic, we're the only ones, we talk to each other up to probably about 1 or 2 o'clock because there's nothing else on the internet. There's nothing else on the internet. So, yeah, Tom, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Do appreciate. Texas, thank you. We really appreciate it.
That's why I meant to say Texas, because I knew he was getting ready to log off. Sounds like he's getting ready to log off. Yes, yeah. We're thinking about doing this live cast on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Might skip a day here and there, depending if I got a doctor's appointment or not. I think I got a couple of doctor's appointments coming up, so I'll let you know when we do a live cast. You will get an alert if you have your alert set on your YouTube.
Man, why you telling me to get out that trade?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Sounds like you were pretty happy with 15 ticks.
Until now. Texas, you have a very good day. Hope to see you next week. And don't forget, no trading tomorrow.
That's right. Markets are closed. You say markets are closed tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, markets are closed tomorrow. And I think you said it's Good Friday, correct?
Yes. And markets, I don't think we're doing it. I'm not sure if we're open Monday. Well, Good Monday, we normally half day, I think.
Okay, so we won't do no casting on Monday anyway. But right. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, you guys can look for us here.
Hopefully, Tom, we can set up some sort of a conference call, maybe Sunday evening, Monday evening sometime, and hopefully, we can work out some of these kinks that we have on this side. And I do definitely look forward to talking to you as well. Monday's regular trading. Okay. Probably going to look like today. Got time today. I got a couple of cars to detail, Tom. That's the only reason I'm putting this off. But I am definitely going to be setting up something with Top Step, and we will definitely be getting back with you and talk this over. Thank you, Trader. I enjoyed your company as well. Give me somebody to listen to my bitching.
Trader Cat is his name, man.
Yeah, same thing. Trader Cat, either way. TC, I remember that. Top Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Monday's a Europe holiday. Let me move to France.
Okay, it is I have 12:37. We're about to call it the day. Be sure to look out for our notifications when we go live again. I enjoyed this, and that's why I do this. I do this for the enjoyment more so than anything. I enjoy trading. Magic enjoys trading, and we will look out for you guys later on.
Absolutely. Hope you have a very good weekend.
And I thank all you guys for tuning in, and hopefully for you newcomers, you'll tune in again when we go back live again.